Hi everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. In today's video, I'm going to be doing some laser cut fall decor using Creality's Falcon 2 Pro 60 watt laser. This particular laser can be switched with the press of a button between a 22 watt, 40 watt and a 60 watt laser. I'm going to be using the 60 watt laser function today. For my first project, I'm going to be creating a pumpkin sign. So I have my machine settings ready to go in Lightburn, and then the laser can get to work. I'm cutting into 3mm MDF. This is just a free printable that I turned into a laser cut file. And I only had to have 2 passes for this on the 60 watt setting. So it took less than 10 minutes and it cut it through perfectly. So the 60 watt laser not only can cut thick things, it can also cut with great precision, even on that powerful mode. Once the laser had finished cutting, I was able to open it up and I can already see that it has cut through perfectly. I'm then going to take out a white chalk paint and I'm going to be painting the base first. So this is the base that all of the letters and the frame design are going to sit on. And I'm going to be applying 2 even coats of this paint over the entire back. While that paint is drying, I'm going to be using a black chalk paint. I've kept the letters sitting inside the MDF that we cut it out of, just to make painting them a lot easier. I've got quite a few delicate cuts here, and I just want to make sure that they don't sort of go everywhere while I'm trying to paint them and they don't go missing. So I just sort of kept them there to keep them safe and also make it a bit easier for me to paint. So I'm just using that black chalk paint over the top of all of the letters. And I only ended up doing 1 coat. I don't mind if it's got a bit of a rustic look, if we can still see some of the MDF underneath. That's just going to add to the rustic charm of the piece. You can see I did take out the little pumpkin design down the bottom there. I did decide to paint that separately, just to make sure that I didn't get any black paint on it. So I'm going to be doing that shortly. But before that, I had to also paint the frame that goes around the edge. So you can see that this is quite thin. So the 60 watt laser can cut really fine details, even though it has that amazing cutting power and can cut through 20mm thick pine with just 2 passes. So it's definitely a very versatile laser. Next, I'm going to be painting that little pumpkin detail, and I'm just going to be using a pumpkin colored chalk paint over the top. I ended up doing 2 light coats over the top of this because the paint wasn't quite as pigmented as the black color we were using before. So I'm just adding the pumpkin tone to the pumpkin design there, but then I did come in with a green paint for the vine detail that's coming off the side. I also decided to take the scroll sort of details that we cut out, and I decided to also paint those green so that they also sort of tied in with the look of a pumpkin vine and just sort of all tied the look together. So I only ended up doing 1 coat of the green on those sections though. I let my paint dry completely, and then I removed all of the letters. I've poured out a little bit of my wood glue that I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to be using the section that we cut the letters out of as a guide. So I'm just making sure that I have it positioned the way that I want on the backing of the sign, and then I'm going to start gluing the letters down. So I'm just going to dip them in the glue a little bit, trying not to get any of the glue on the sides of the letters though. I don't want it to stick to our little backing piece there that we're using as a guide. I just want it to stick to the surface, but this is an easier way for you to be able to glue your letters down and keep them in that same formation rather than just trying to do it by eye. So I'm just going to continue gluing all of the letters down. Now you can definitely use super glue for this. I used wood glue just so that I didn't accidentally glue down the backing guide that we're using. I didn't want to risk that happening. Once I'd glued everything down, I gently lifted up the backing piece, and I'm just sort of using a Cricut tool there to poke the letters back down. I had a few that came a bit loose, but I was able to see the glue residue and reposition the letters pretty easily. I then glued the frame section down. I gave the sign a coat of spray sealer and then I cut out a length of twine. I'm going to double that over so it's a little bit thicker. I'm going to tie a knot in each end of that twine, and this is just going to be the little hanging attachment that I'm going to be adding to the back. So then I flipped it over and I'm going to just be attaching the twine just with some hot glue. This is quite a light sign. It's just made out of MDF, and this is a sign for myself. If this was one I was going to sell, I would have also painted the back as well. And here's a look at our finished pumpkin sign. I'm so pleased with this sign. It was so quick to make with the Falcon 2 Pro 60 watt laser, and I really feel that it looks really professional. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. For my next project, I'm going to be creating this lovely floral style pumpkin. Now, this is a file that I bought off Etsy. I will link it below. I wanted to test even further how delicate the 60 watt function on the Creality Falcon 2 Pro laser could go. I wanted to see how delicate of a design it could cut out, and it did an amazing job. As you can see, there are some really tiny cuts here. And even though it has that power to cut through something really, really thick, it can still do these fine details and really, really quick. It took about half the time that it would have taken on a less wattage, so say the 22 watt or the 40 watts. So it definitely is making cutting these projects out so much quicker for me. When it was finished cutting, I opened up the lid and I could already see that some of the items that needed to be weeded out and cut out had already fallen through. They'd been cut through that cleanly. Now for this one, I actually took it outside and I'm using just some flat white spray paint. This is such a delicate and intricate design. It would have been too tricky for me to hand paint. I also decided to spray paint the base pieces for this project as well. While that was drying, I took out a duck egg style blue and I'm adding that to the back piece of this design. I felt like doing something a little bit different. I know blue's not necessarily a fall color, but I just really loved the contrast between this color and the white. So we're going with this. It's a bit more of a sort of neutral fall look for this one. So I'm just going to paint the entire back with one coat of this beautiful blue-green tone. When my paint was dry, I added some Gorilla Super Glue gel to the back of the white piece. Now, I was definitely sure to add that glue onto all of the details, especially those delicate florals that were able to move. I wanted to make sure I had a nice coating of glue there so that it would stay in place. So after I have finished applying a generous amount of that super glue to the back there, I then added it to our back piece, just making sure I have it all lined up properly. I then added some more of that Gorilla Super Glue gel to the back part of one of the stands, and I'm just going to line that up with the center part, and then I will position the pumpkin inside. I've got a little bit of glue on the sides of that too. And here's our floral pumpkin shelf sitter. This is such a great example to show you the beautiful, intricate designs that you can cut with a 60 watt powerful laser. Let me know what you think of this in the comment. For my final project, I'm going to be showing you guys the amazing way that it can cut really thick wood. I'm just going to be using the pumpkin today, but it cut through 20 millimeter thick pine in about 5 minutes, and it was only 2 passes at 100%, and I only had it going at about 300 speed. I then took out some glaze to stain our pine wood, and I just really wanted it to have a dark tone underneath. This is a fall project, so we're going with some of those earthy tones for this project. So I'm just covering that whole piece there. I'll also do the back, and then I did use a paper towel to sort of wipe off the excess and blend the stain out evenly. I let that dry completely, and then I took out this pumpkin toned paint, and I'm just going to be painting it on the base. I want to leave the stalk section that beautiful wood tone. I ended up doing 2 coats of this front and back. I still wanted some of the wood tone peeking through, so I also went around the sides, but again, I'm not going for full coverage. I want to see peaks of that darker wood and that stain peeking through. And as you can see, this is 20 mil thick wood that this laser cut through. It did an amazing job, and it'll be a great shelf sitter. I'm then going to take out a wet wipe before my paint is completely dry. I'm going to do a bit of wet distressing to bring back even more of that wood tone underneath. I then let that dry completely. I did spray seal this with a spray sealer, just a flat top coat. And then when that was dry, I decided to add a little bit of twine. I just wanted another little element. Obviously, you don't have to add this if you're going to give it a try. I wrapped it around a couple of times, and then I just tied a simple bow. So simple, rustic, but I think very, very cute. I think that this is just such a sweet project, and it would definitely be a great selling item, I think, for your small business. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing how the Creality Falcon 2 Pro 60 watt laser can cut not just really thick pieces of wood, it's very, very powerful, but it can do the delicate designs as well. Let me know if you had a favorite project from today. If you would like to get your own Creality Falcon 2 Pro 60 watt laser, make sure you check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, comment, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. You can find most of the paint products used today on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. Thanks for watching, guys.